15-13, good luck. So we've not played before, no head-to-head score. Right, another new account, could be a bit dodgy then, let's find out. There is 250 games, it's more than enough to establish a rating, you only need like 20 games or something. So it should be a 1500 level player, but we'll find out. So we're just playing a normal d4 game this one, we're just going to try and develop our pieces, get castled, then worry about what to do. Yeah, I'm going to push a pawn and try and challenge for the centre, maybe even push another one depending on what white does. We're attacking the pawn, but we're just trying to get castled for now. Obviously you can lash out, so here allows knight across. We might as well just take the pawn back, and then, like I say, generally speaking, you want to castle as early as you can, but obviously you've got to react to what your opponent is trying to do. Now, bishop up looks to be a nice move here. Might force h3 and even g4, because we're threatening to push on. You do have knight across, though, don't you? But it's a nice development move. Just means we're delaying that castling for one move, so let's hope it doesn't backfire on us. Our opponent's already got castling done out the way, but there is a potential threat there. It's the only reason I've developed there, so can we just do this now then? Has he just blundered there? So if he hits our bishop, we can take back and we still attack another piece. So I think that should be a piece, right? Because if you go here, we just simply take. Just simple basic chess. But we still need our king to safety. But it can be a little bit risky sometimes. If you just miss something and your opponent's got a nice defensive resource and you miss it, you can get into difficulty. Okay, he's moved out the way, so we can just win a piece here then. I see no reason not to do that. If he goes with a bishop or the knight, it's probably good to just trade either way. Then you're up a piece, so get pieces off the board. Now we can finally castle. Okay, can we keep this pawn? It's isolated. If we lose this pawn, it could be a challenge. What is it? 7 against 6 in it. So we've got the piece, but we're down a pawn. But does that give us a chance to push up? No, because we lose our bishop. So he's attacked our bishop, so I guess we just want to drop back here. We could go forward and hit the queen, but after you move, I don't see a follow-up. So I'm just going to drop the bishop back. I'd like to push on. Maybe he's got a move like rook across. Oh, he's only gone across one. That just blunders the game on the spot, or it should do. It walks into a diagonal, so it just blunders it on the spot. Unlucky. If he blocks, we can still take that. Yeah, it is in an arena this. He might just resign and get on with another game, but he can play on if he wishes. You just got to try and find a safe square for your queen. If you go here, you do attack a pawn, but obviously the rook is guarded by the knight, so it's just an exchange, not a clean piece. So he's moved the queen out of the way, so we're going to take. He should just take with his knight. And I'm going to push this pawn. Mad, am I? If I push the pawn up, it gets his bishop into play, doesn't it? But it's just an isolated pawn that's going to be difficult to keep. So yes, I think I am. Engine language, it might be better not to do that because you're releasing your opponent's bishop potentially. But we're up a lot of material. If he takes, we'll take with a queen and just try and get the queen off the board. Okay, so he jumps across. So I'm going to take, and we do challenge the queen. If queen takes, we've got rook across, or we can check. So there we're just going to take. We're just trying to play common sense chess here. We're up a lot of material, so it makes good sense to simplify. He pushes forward. I'm going to play knight across here and challenge that bishop, and I'm going to try and give my king an emergency square just in case. But we're up a clean rook. 6 against 5, so we're down a pawn, so we've got a rook for a pawn. So we'll push a pawn just so we don't blunder the back rank in one move. Yeah, well, I could take, couldn't I? Maybe he goes with a pawn, does it matter? Rook across. Actually, rook across I think makes sense here. So if the bishop moves anywhere, we can trade a rook. And I'm still going to try and do this. I could take there as well, perfectly fine move. If it was me, I would have already resigned and moved on, but that's just me being a bit more old school, I guess. Like I say, the games, I'm playing it in an arena, so you could just get on with another game, but there's nothing wrong with my opponent choosing to play on here. So I think we just win a pawn here. If you take, we take the rook. So if I take, I don't see a trick. It doesn't mean there isn't one, but I don't see it. So I'm going to grab the pawn. And now we are threatening to actually just take here now, and he'd have an isolated pawn. So I'm still looking at pawn up, obviously depending on what our opponent does. But if you take here, we just simply take the rook. Maybe we'd then have king up, knight check, and just take the bishop there, bishop for the knight. Okay, so he's played knight forward. That does allow knight check here, and we can win the exchange anywhere. I don't think there's any point spending a lot of time on that. It's just an early mistake from a opponent, that's all, and then one tends to lead to another. Game becomes very difficult after that. And that's the same for everybody at every level of chess, of course. So let's just take now, then take the bishop. We could even take the knight if he goes with the knight. Just take it and get it off the board. It completely minimizes any risk. And if he goes with the pawn, we can maybe push up and kick the knight and then take the pawn next move. But he's gone with the knight, so I'm just going to play good, principled, basic chess. Remove as much risk as you can. Blockade this center pawn. Then eventually we're going to be able to clean up these other pawns here. Okay, I'll go forward now and attack both sides. I could still do a mouse slip, of course, you never know. It's 5 pawns each. If I do a mouse slip and lose the rook for free, you know, it does happen. And of course, you want to put your king in a position where you've got a potential stalemate from white's point of view. But I'm just going to try and run up and get myself a new queen if I can. Maybe I'll go here as well and try and collect the pawn. You just got to really pay close attention to not blundering stalemate. But now the king can't step forward here, so removes a lot of risk and just run up, get a new queen. Yeah, we don't really want the king going in here, do we? So pawn up, down, we can just ignore it, right? We don't want the king being able to tuck itself away, and then you're more likely to blunder a stalemate. So if the pawn pushes, just ignore it. You can take or push, and we can then take back. And then there's a lot less risk of messing it up if you do it like that. So let's see what it was in engine speak. It was just really an early mistake from a pawn, that's all it was. So 35 moves, they're the move times for both players there. Let's request an analysis. You see the queen's pawn game symmetrical variation. If you click on that, it'll bring some puzzles up to do in this opening, which are obviously very useful for training. Well, I played it very well there. 97 versus 85 on the accuracy. But see, just a couple of mistakes and that's all it was. And then got a losing position, and there's not much you can do after that if your opponent plays it well. So yeah, it was actually a mistake here to try and play a bishop there. I should have actually pushed the pawn up immediately. So this is what we should have done, was gone forward straight away. Knight across, bishop up, f3. Gets really dangerous when you take like this, though, because you're opening up the file for the rook further down the game. Knight across b4, bishop takes b4, bishop to b2, and it's getting really, really sharp. So knight there was a blunder. Should have played h3. So this is what you should have done for white. Then the bishop comes back. Okay, naturally you would go here, probably just get g4. g4 anyway. Bishop retreats. Knight to g5. Back. It's actually, oh, you go for the sacrifice. So you're going to blast it open. This is not a line I'm familiar with. This is suddenly looking rather scary, isn't it? So you can see why I was better off pushing the pawn early. You know the theory there. That could go very, very wrong. But from this point on, it's not flagged anything from either of us. You know, just playing good sensible moves here. And just converting it smoothly without messing up. And we're just trying to get pieces off the board here, because we're up a clean rook. And then it's all about not blundering stalemate once you get to this position, or a mouse slip. You mean to go across here and you drop the mouse here by mistake, the rook's gone, and suddenly it's a game of it. Okay, so that's not a bad effort, is it? Not bad for our opponent there. Well done.